The story begins with a couple planning to go on a safari tour to see bull sharks at a tourist beach in Australia. They are greeted by a man with translucent hair who asks them to wait because his crew is still preparing the bait.
Today, and he doesn't interrupt his holes for no one. Milo, shut up!
Greg and Heather eventually meet the captain of the boat, a man named Tucker. Despite having a rugged, tractor-like face, this muscular man is surprisingly friendly toward his boss's customers. He promises to give them the best experience possible as they swim among bull sharks. On the way to the shark site, Tucker shares a horrifying story about the time he was cornered and attacked by a great white shark. Fortunately, he managed to defeat the shark, although he ended up with a permanent staple in his jaw as a reminder of the encounter. Heather is terrified. Never in her life had she imagined a shark attack could be that brutal. But Tucker reassures her not to worry, because he has a sturdy cage ready for them when they dive in the middle of the shark-infested waters. At last, the moment arrives for Heather to gather her courage and dive with the deadly creatures. This is her first time seeing sharks the way she had only seen them in movies. Tucker quickly helps Greg calm Heather down. Having plenty of experience handling customers like her, Tucker has his own method of turning fear into bravery.
Close your eyes. Like it. And in. Baby shark. Do baby shark. Do baby shark. Do mommy shark.
Heather's fear resurfaces as she finds herself surrounded by the sharks. However, Greg's presence beside her slowly transforms her terror into awe at the diversity and beauty of the bull sharks.
Oh my God, that was amazing!
Yeah, something to tell the grandkiddies one day.
Thanks so much for fitting us in.
Welcome aboard.
And I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind.
We then shift our focus to a beautiful surfer named Zephyr, a solitary woman who spends 90% of her time around the coastline.
Must be out then.
Zephyr's attention is drawn to a handsome entrepreneur named Moses, who desperately needs a short cable for his stalled car. He is so confused about where to find a parts shop that he ends up wandering into a food store by mistake.
Dude, I said I can't help you.
In desperation, Moses asks Zephyr again if she has a spare cable. He has walked a long distance from his car just to find one. Feeling sorry for him, Zephyr offers to help fix his broken-down vehicle. While expressing his gratitude, Moses continues talking non-stop, introducing himself even though the girl shows a rather cold attitude toward him.
Yep.
What woman wouldn't be at least somewhat curious about a man driving such a luxurious car? While charging Moses's battery, their togetherness also changed into getting to know each other.
You're a Creedence fan, huh? Dude, you have fortunate son.
The more time they spend together, the more their chemistry grows, like two teenagers discovering love for the first time. Eventually, they spend the night together. Moses quickly prepares a dinner menu, eager to continue pampering Zephyr, the woman he has liked since the moment he first saw her. But sadly, Zephyr sees their relationship as nothing more than a one-night romance. Zephyr, a woman who prefers solitude, chooses to prepare for surfing at her favorite spot, rather than playing house with Moses. But suddenly, she realizes she forgot the fin key for her surfboard. It was left at Moses's place. She then approaches other surfers, hoping someone might have a spare fin key she can borrow.
Jesus.
Unexpectedly, she runs into Tucker, the psychopath, who happens to be at the same location. Strangely enough,
Thanks.
he kindly offers her the fin key she needs. Moses expresses his disappointment that Z left in such a hurry. He had already prepared a meal for her. When Moses asks if he can accompany Z while she surfs, she keeps her distance and chooses not to respond at all. Tucker, meanwhile, is a psychopath crazy, though we still don't know what he intends to do after drugging Z. Without anyone's knowledge, Tucker's boss transports Z onto his boat. He even has a special hidden compartment to keep her, a place completely out of sight from his customers. Moses keeps looking for Z, but the only thing he finds is her car. He feels worried about her. Z awakens in a panic when she realizes she has become another victim of kidnapping. As a longtime prisoner, Heather apologizes to her, explaining that during her days of captivity, she had been forced to relieve herself in a bucket. The unbothered Tucker simply enjoys listening to Z scream for help. Z then tries to find anything she can use to unlock her handcuffs. The discovery of a certain name makes her realize that she and Heather are not the first to be abducted. Moments later, Heather explains who Tucker really is, the man who kidnapped them both. He began with kindness, lured them in with his gentle persona, and eventually murdered Heather's boyfriend. Meanwhile, Z's car is towed away by roadside authorities for illegal parking. Moses tries to explain that the car belongs to a traveler he knows, but with such little information, the officers refuse to release it. Back in captivity, as Z struggles to escape, she overhears Heather crying, mourning for her mother. The two women begin to share their stories, confiding in each other, including Z's past of constantly being moved from one orphanage to another.
Yes.
During their conversation, Z notices Heather's underwire bra, a tool she might be able to use to pick the handcuffs. Heather instinctively tries to cover her now unsupported chest, but her flustered reaction only makes Tucker suspicious. Z quickly diverts his attention before Tucker discovers their escape plan. In her rush, she even drinks whatever is given to her without realizing what it is. Tucker claims to be fascinated by Z's behavior, saying she seems like the type of woman who possesses real bravery. But, he adds, what is the meaning of bravery when she is shackled like this? Neither Z nor Heather realizes that the drink they consumed was laced with sedatives. When Heather collapses, the bra wire falls to the floor with her. Tucker prepares what he calls a show, feeding the bull sharks using Heather as bait. He only needs to wait for the sharks to arrive, drawn in by the blood he has spilled into the water. He begins speaking about the art of suffering, something he intends to immortalize with his high-end camera equipment.
God's down there.
When Heather regains consciousness, he immediately begins staging his first performance.
Scary than mosquitoes? It's because people don't think. There's 300 razor sharp.
Tucker tells her not to hold back, that he wants her to scream because it will make the show look more realistic. And she shouldn't worry too much, he says, because he only needs half of her body. Tucker is delighted, fully satisfied by the agony on Heather's face as she is left half a person, exactly as he envisioned for his twisted spectacle. Meanwhile, the unfortunate woman finally meets her end as Heather's body sinks into the depths of the ocean. Tucker then tells Z not to panic because he plans to continue the second season of his show tomorrow. In the midst of her grief, as Z feels like she's simply waiting to die, she hears Tucker celebrating the performance he just staged. Z begins to fear that she will share the same fate as Heather, ending up as food for the sharks. At that moment, Tucker fiddles with Heather's hair, tying it together with the footage he recorded of her death. And, as you might have guessed, Tucker has already claimed many victims before this. He then prepares a new blank cassette that he plans to use for the next night's performance, though how Z is supposed to survive this iron bed she's trapped on remains a mystery. At the same time, the last remaining pieces of Heather's body sink into the darkness of the sea, disappearing for good. As usual, Tucker brings a meal to his Sandra, but Z can already sense that this is just another one of Tucker's tricks to knock her unconscious.
Just a lot of fluid.
Instead of getting angry, Tucker becomes even more entertained by a prisoner as aggressive as Z. After all, in his show tonight, he expects Z to put up a fight against the sharks.
Break.
Z unleashes her rage, insulting Tucker and calling him a pathetic man. But to Tucker, her words mean nothing more than the complaints of someone who gets loud when she's being chased for unpaid debts. He reminds Z to prepare herself mentally, because later tonight she'll be moving into a shark's intestines. Determined, Z begins crafting a makeshift weapon using the handle of a bucket in front of her. Holding her breath to withstand the foul stench, she continues working on her escape plan. Night falls. Tucker mixes another batch of sedatives after failing to knock Z out earlier, and since Zephyr is asleep, this is the perfect moment to drug her again. With a single swift movement, Z manages to secure exactly what she needs. Once the handcuffs are unlocked, she grabs several keys she can use to trap Tucker instead. Despite the sedatives affecting her body, Z runs toward the cockpit. Somehow, she needs to call for help through the radio. Her vision blurring and her body weakening, Z tries desperately to reach out to the people on board a passing cruise ship, yet she doesn't realize her efforts are completely futile.
You put that down.
Tucker's expensive camera is now shattered, falling beside Z as she attempts to push toward the cruise ship. But soon, the sedative spreads deeper through her system, and she grows weaker and weaker. The next morning, Moses sees a rescue team busy searching for Heather, who has been missing for a week. This only makes Moses more worried about Z, afraid she might have been kidnapped. In a race against time, Moses accesses the public CCTV network along the coastline. After scanning through several recordings, he finally spots Z's car. Then, noticing a vehicle marked with a shark logo, Moses becomes suspicious. Could it be that Z was kidnapped, especially since her phone was left behind? When Tucker returns to the dock, Moses finally learns where to search for the suspicious vehicle he has been tracking. At the same time, Tucker's boss informs him that the police had stopped by, asking about the couple Tucker once took out to sea. But Tucker brushes it off and heads to a pawn shop to find a replacement camera he desperately needs. He is frustrated. Old cameras like the one that fell into the water are incredibly hard to find. Back at the dock, Moses heads straight to the only boat owned by the Bull Shark Tour Company, an operation far from famous. And since the area is quiet, Moses continues searching for Z. After banging repeatedly on the boat's hull, he hears someone screaming inside. Without hesitation, Z tells Moses to find a wire or anything similar. She also urges him to call for help immediately. but Tucker's boss mistakes Moses for a thief trying to steal boat parts. When the balding man finally hears Z screaming, he realizes something is terribly wrong. Tucker, not wanting his crimes to be discovered, kills his boss instantly. He then hastily escapes, taking his captives toward a new bull shark habitat. Z never expected Moses to care this much about her, but what she didn't expect even more was that her would-be rescuer would end up trapped with her in the same compartment. Another failed attempt to call the police. In the middle of their conversation, Tucker suddenly stops the boat. He intends to punish Moses first for daring to infiltrate his vessel. Moses panics when he sees the corpse of Tucker's boss being dipped into the shark-infested waters. And now it's Moses's turn. Tucker prepares him to become the next star of his grotesque collection of recordings.
Put me up instead.
How romantic.
Z warns Moses not to move even an inch. Doing so would only attract the bull sharks faster. Tucker, with his second-hand camera, eagerly records the terrifying moments. Z's advice proves effective. Moses narrowly avoids becoming shark food. But Tucker isn't finished. He plans to splash blood onto Moses to draw the sharks closer. Before he can proceed, he hears the approaching sound of a rescue helicopter searching for Heather. He quickly hides his captives before his crimes are exposed. After countless attempts to break free, Z's hands are scratched and bleeding. Seeing Moses covered in blood and trembling, Z gathers the courage to attempt something extreme with her thumb. Tucker mocks Z and Moses, saying they're an incompatible pair, Moses being spineless, while Zephyr is a tough woman. He then reminds Z to prepare herself mentally, because tonight will be her turn. Despite her brutal efforts, the handcuffs remain stubbornly locked. Without hesitation, Z decides she must dislocate or even remove her own thumb. Meanwhile, Tucker mixes another dose of sedatives, unaware that Z has already escaped. He is shocked to find nothing but her severed thumb left behind. Even though he's locked in, Tucker certainly knows how to break out of the room. Meanwhile, Z plans to steer Tucker's boat back toward the shore. But as she takes the helm, she is confused. Why has the boat suddenly died? She tries using her voice to call out for help, hoping someone on the shoreline might hear her. As Z manages to break free, Tucker uses the boat's searchlight to look for her, and he finds her. But just as he prepares his fishhook spear gun, Z vanishes once again. The moment finally arrives for Z to be used as bait. Moses is forced to sit still and enjoy the show.
Nice stuffing it back in.
The moment finally arrives for Z to be used as bait. Moses is forced to sit still and enjoy the show. Their eyes widen in shock as a massive great white shark appears. Even Tucker is stunned. This performance is going to be epic, and he intends to make it as cinematic as possible. When a bull shark approaches, Tucker immediately shoos it away. But his reckless move gives Z a chance to survive the great white's attack. Once both sharks disappear into the darkness, Z seizes the moment to escape. Meanwhile, Tucker is still desperately searching for the great white, the very same shark he once encountered before.
Behind you!
With all the humility she can muster, Z attempts a gentle gesture toward the great white, the creature that once battled Tucker in the past.
Where are you, Mullen?
Quietly, she searches for a weapon to strike Tucker with. Not long after, she finds the fishhook spear Tucker dropped while he was distracted. Z appears to be working together with the great white, and now it's the shark's turn to take revenge on Tucker. Moses can't believe it. He's losing Z for the second time. Weak from blood loss, he can only surrender, believing his struggle ends here.
Hey, Moses. Moses, please wake up.
Now Z feels she might lose Moses. Through her rising despair, Z confesses that she has fallen in love with Moses and that she wants to spend the rest of her life with him.
Hey,